Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, in our news, it seems that police officers are demanding larger uniforms. Now, as you know, police officers around the world, they all wear special clothes, usually a special color too, sometimes blue or black, and that's called a uniform. But it seems that, just like everyone else in the UK, police officers here are getting a little bit bigger, and they have waist lines. The waistline is the measurement around your waist, which is the top of your legs basically, up to 48 inches. And the police departments are supplying them with not only XL uniforms, which is the measurement for extra large, as you might know, but they're supplying them with XXXL uniforms. Now, just to put that into some kind of perspective, the British Heart Foundation say that 38 inches around your waist is kind of dangerous. And anything above 40 is high risk for heart attacks and heart problems. Everyone's different, of course, but it's kind of big, kind of big. Now, for a police officer, I thought that you had to be quite fit to join the police, because we've all seen these movies of the police chasing after the criminal in the streets. But I don't think our police officers can do that anymore if they're so big. Some of them probably can, but I've never seen it happen. I think a lot of our police officers now are getting quite chubby. They're getting a little bit bigger. It's different across the country. The Metropolitan Police in London are having to order larger uniforms, and it's the same with the Scottish police and the police over in Bristol. So for me, it's a little bit strange, because I always thought you had to be in really good shape to get into the police force, and to keep your job, I thought you had to take regular exercise. But I might be confusing that with the army or the military, maybe. I don't know. But the police officers I've seen around here, some of the younger ones are quite thin, but the older ones definitely are a little bit chubby. But up to 48 inches, some of them must be really, really big. The National Obesity Forum said the taxpayer has the right to expect all frontline police officers to be fit for duty. Frontline means those who are facing the public, those who are on the streets. So it sounds like they aren't in favor of overweight police officers. It's a bit strange, though. The National Obesity Forum, that sounds like an organization that would, well, protect fat people. But it seems no, they're demanding change. The local government in Scotland has the power to pass laws to ensure that policemen are fit, but I don't think they'll get involved. Officers have been encouraged to slim in campaigns like the 5-day sugar solution challenge, which urges them to ease up on sweets. That just means not to eat so many, to ease up on. The police responded by saying the size of clothing an individual chooses to wear cannot be used to determine their fitness. I think it can, and it is. And they're saying, for example, larger sizes of clothing can relate to items which may have to be worn over equipment, such as body armor. Yeah, but if you're wearing clothes over it, how do you deal with that? I mean, of course, it is true that the police sometimes wear bulletproof vests and these kind of things, But that they're saying that the tops they have to wear, the jumpers, are also absolutely huge. All this information is available to the public through our national records. Our records office keeps these kind of things and the media pick it up. So it's very interesting. Yeah, police officers demanding XXXXL uniforms, extra, 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 extra large. If you ever go to buy clothes in the UK, we really don't use the metric system. So it's inches around the waist, and we sometimes have little tags that say S for small, M for medium, L for large, XL extra large, XXL extra extra large, and here we have XXXXL. It's good to know if you're coming to the UK that that's how it is. I've no idea how the metric system works with clothes. I'm British. I don't really know much about the metric system. So, with buying clothes, you need to be very, very careful, I think, with that. It's better to try them on, although I hate trying on clothes in department stores. Do you know some of our department stores now, they don't actually have changing rooms. They have these, I'm not sure how to describe them. They're like little rooms, but the doors don't cover the whole size of the entrance to the room. They're like little swing doors. You know, in the movies when a cowboy walks into a saloon, the doors are kind of like half the size. They sit in the middle, so you can see over them and you can see under them. So if you're out of shape, too tall or too small, people walking past, if they look in, they're likely to see bits of you. I don't like that. I think British people are very strange anyway with trying things on. We probably much prefer to do that when we're alone in the privacy of our own home. Speaking of being overweight and these things, I went for a walk yesterday to the cemetery. Now, that might seem a little bit strange for those of you who aren't in the UK, but this is a very British thing. The cemetery is a great place to go to gather your thoughts together, especially on a nice autumn day. See the leaves falling. It's very grounding. It's a place to just catch your thoughts. It's not to visit any particular grave. It's just a nice place to walk through, to sit down, have a sandwich, a cup of coffee. I know that it's not like that in other parts of the world. But anyway, I went to the local cemetery and there was a woman there with this huge bag of bread and she was feeding the pigeons. Honestly, I mean, I'm not particularly thin. The woman was huge and she's giving bread to these really huge birds. I mean, some of them could hardly move. And I wanted to say to her, don't give the birds bread. I mean, it was like, do you remember that movie, Mary Poppins, where they have that old lady sitting on the steps of the bank singing Feed the Birds? I'm not sure if you've seen that, but it was like that. And then at one point, when the birds started to come down, it was more like the Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Birds. Of course, I'm very British. I would never say anything to her about whether she should feed the birds, and I certainly wouldn't talk to her anyway because, in a cemetery, there's not really many people around. I would never put someone in a position where they feel threatened. So she said hello, I said hello, I continued walking, and we were both completely surrounded by birds at that point. I suppose it's nice she's feeding them. She obviously thinks she's doing them a favor, but you should never feed the birds if you're visiting the UK, especially in London, because there's too many of them. They're all really fat. And if you ever go to a McDonald's and sit outside, you need to be very careful because you could be attacked by seagulls or larger birds if you're near a river or near the water. Remember, the UK is an island, so we have loads of seagulls and seabirds flying over. And the moment they see your Big Mac, they'll be down looking for some. Well, on a happier note, Christmas is coming, and I'm thinking about putting my Christmas decorations up this weekend. I have to be in the mood to do that, and I think today would be a really good day. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, sometime over the weekend would be nice to do that. Actually, did you know that these days people buy gadgets at Christmas time? We no longer buy board games or clothing. We give each other phones, computers, gadgets, or gift cards for gadgets. And having said all of that, 50 gadgets a week disappear from our governments. They lose 50 gadgets every week. 50 laptops and phones every week vanish from our central government's offices in London. That bizarre. Well, I'm guessing they'll be buying more then if they keep losing things. Let's get back to the police before we finish because we want to do some adjectives just to describe the police. Okay, so here we are. Well, thinking about our report that we read earlier, overweight, I think, is one way to describe them because it sounds like they're getting bigger. But other adjectives you could use would be ones like professional, reflecting their training and the standards expected in their duties. Community focused, highlighting their efforts to engage with and serve local communities. Now, that's quite a big thing because, as I've told you before, police officers here are actually customer service officers. You know, if you tell them you're afraid, if you tell them that something's happening in your life, they're not allowed to leave you until you're calm and you're in the place you need to get to. So they can't just say, sorry, I don't know, and walk away. They will help you in any way they can. Approachable, describing their demeanor towards the public, encouraging open communication. So our police aren't people that you should ever be afraid of. In fact, the only time I ever have to deal with the police is they're usually the ones that give you bad news. So if you open the door and there's a policeman standing there, it's usually to tell you someone's died or someone that maybe you didn't know very well has passed away. Often they are the bearers of bad news. Accountable, yeah, our police have a real transparency. So if anything happens, I mean, they wear body cameras, but if anything happens with them being corrupt, and there's quite a few of those now, it seems, there's full responsibility taken by the police and investigations happen, and our police are under major scrutiny. I think over the last few years, they've had some bad reports, so they're now actively weeding out people that break the law. Uniformed, of course. They're known for their distinctive uniforms, large uniforms, it seems. They're usually quite calm, although not if they're overweight and running, they're not. but they're usually quite calm. Yes. And that makes them very approachable. We refer to policemen as coppers. Anyone seen a copper? Is there a copper around? Can someone call the cops? We also call them bobbies. Oh, have you seen the local bobby? We have a new local bobby. I don't know why we call them that. If we're referring to local police in the village, we call them bobbies. Just like the name Bob, Bobby. What else can I tell you about them? I think that's all. So professional, disciplined, emphasizing their adherence to rules and procedures as well. So a couple more there. So I hope you found this helpful. And that's it from me for today. So I wish you a wonderful day. And remember, if you are buying clothes in the UK, yeah, get used to the imperial system because we really don't do metric with clothes, shoe sizes, and these things. So it's really important that you're prepared for that. All right. That's it. See you all soon. Bye.